Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. I've started a bit early. I love how you all on time. Everyone's like 3 minutes before we're starting. That's amazing. Welcome, everybody. Amazing. We're going to give it another minute or so for more people to join in because we just hit 1 o'clock here in Mexico. I know it's 2 p.m. where you are. Who do we have here today? Dania, Osra, Betsy, Yekaterina, Emelita, Cherville, Guadalupe, iPhone. I always love it. Every single time we do a Zoom, there's always an iPhone. Karen, Kay, Lena, Liana, Mary, Lorna, Mary, two Marys. Hello. Michelle, Alicia, Pamela, Patricia, Reza, Victoria, Yvonne, Darlene, Oksana, Robin. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Can you put a 1 if you can hear and see me? Just so I know everything is good. Hello, hello. Having my hair done. I love that. Yeah, there's no excuse. Just join the webinar. It doesn't matter where you are. I can see it. That's great. I love it. Let me see. Incredible. Okay, we still got some people joining in. So what I want you to do is grab a notepad or a pen and paper just so that you can make some notes, okay? 1 second. Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. We have okay. All right. Oh, guys, I'm very giggly today. I'm very excited. So, we're gonna start in a minute. I'll still go. Laura joining, Gulnara. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Put a yeah, put a 1 if you've done any courses with me before, and put a 2 if you're completely new to me here today, because I think we have some new people here. If you're a newbie, just put a 2. Otherwise, if you're not, then welcome. This is our family. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. We have some new ones. 1. Hello, having technical issues, cannot hear you. Just try restarting your Zoom if you can't hear or see me. Sometimes it helps. 2, Alessia is new. Hello, awesome. Okay, guys, so we're gonna start because I value your time and I know some people are still joining in, so I will add them as we go. So first things first, this is going to be available for replay, hopefully, if there's no technical issues, which I hope so not. And today in the webinar, we have an agenda. I'm going to tell you everything about fruit and nut desserts. So for anybody who has never made desserts like this before, which I'm assuming probably most of you, all of you, has anyone made these desserts before? Can you put a 1 if you tried? Or if you made them, and put a 2 if you've never made them before, you've never heard of them, maybe it's first time you saw them. Okay, bunch of 2s. Amazing. 2, 2, 2. That's great. That's great. Couple of 1s. Awesome. Yeah, so today, what I'm going to do, I want to explain to you what these desserts are. So if you're completely new, maybe you've seen actually, there is a really famous pastry chef, Cedric. He's, I think, in France. Yeah, you guys know. And he started this trend actually about 2 years ago. So it's not like it's a super latest trend, but technically in a pastry world, it's still pretty new and very trendy. It's only been a couple of years. So technically it's still pretty hot. And he's now opened his pastry shop, I think in France. I believe it's in Paris. I hope it is because I'm going to Paris in autumn. And what he does is that he creates the shaped desserts as fruit and nuts. And obviously he created a huge, PR around it. People are like watching him do it, and he creates like thousands of these desserts. So it's definitely very, very desired. If you think about it, if people didn't like these types of desserts, or if they didn't like stand there outside for 24 hours to wait for him to finish it, it wouldn't be popular. I think these desserts are popular mainly because they look very realistic. And there's also now, right now, you probably, if you're in a cake industry, if you like baking and cakes, you've seen there's a trend going like, is it a cake or is it like a fake thing? You know, when they cut with a knife, like, I don't know, a cup or any sort of things. That is slightly different. It's a lot more, it's more like sugar with a lot of sponge. So it's not really a dessert that you would consume yourself. So that's the difference there. You know, it's more like, I guess, for social media to get attraction and, you know, get attention. But the fruit and nut desserts are actually French pastry desserts. Okay, so these are the basically like entremets of mini mousse cake versions. So if you've done mousse cakes with me, or if you've done mousse cakes before, this is like a smaller version, slightly more technical and maybe a bit more intermediate level. But from the other side, it's more creative. So if you've been making cakes before, like sponge cakes, cheesecakes, whatever, it's more like a process. Okay, I'm gonna mix this, make the cake, and that's it. Here, it's kind of similar, but then once the cake is actually made, there's a lot of shaping, there's a lot of working with your hands. So for me, this course personally is more for people who are liking the creative side. Okay, so if you like, you know, working with your hands, shaping, we essentially are doing different types of fruits and nuts. So there's going to be a lot of hand work. Does that make sense? Yeah. French pastries are the best. Put a one if that makes sense so far. What I also want to ask you, has anybody ever tried these desserts? Has anyone tried like any fruit or nutty shaped desserts anywhere? Put a two if you haven't, put a one if you haven't. So I don't mix the yeah, lots of people agree. Yeah. Okay, lots of people haven't tried. Some people have tried. Yes, depending where you live. So if you're never tried these desserts, yeah. So depending where you live, it might not exist, right? In the town where you at, it's very, very considered very fancy and very posh, I would say, right? Like very fancy desserts that you see maybe in like Japan, Paris, London, all of these kind of, you know, big towns, right? Where they're known for pastries. So I guess like for me, when I did several trainings myself, you know, I was not an expert in this, but you know me, I love baking. I've been baking for years. I was like, okay, so how do I now bring this to everyone, but in a very simplistic form? Okay, like in a very easy way, because making it as a professional, you know, when you're doing the, you know, the desserts, they do require a lot of different techniques and tools and ingredients, which can be a bit complicated. And for those of you who done courses with me, which is probably 95% here, you know how easy I make things in every single course, how easy I try to break it down. So today, basically, I want to tell you all about the couple of tricks and things like that we need to discuss. And you're going to decide if you want to get involved in this, okay? So my goal today is to answer all your questions, tell you a little bit about how we go from, you know, process to create something like this. And then you see if this is something that you're like, oh my gosh, like I want to learn this. Because for me, it was more like, I love making desserts. And this is like a new skill. And it's almost like, you know, like I'm like, okay, I need to add this to my skill repertoire. Like I need to add this to my skill list because this is something new. This is something different. And I wanted to challenge myself. I know a lot of you here who've done my courses, you know, I always like to challenge you. So here I always challenge myself and I'm like, okay, I'm always thinking about you guys. You know, by the end of the day, I just want to say I create all these courses for you because you guys inspire me, you know, and I love the feedback, you know, over the last 5-6 years that we've been cooking together, right? It's the feedback that I was getting from you. And I'm like, right, so if I make this course, I'm like, what flavors will be there? What do we do? How do I challenge them further? So I'm always thinking about you when I'm doing this. And yeah, and it's definitely not a basic level. So it's not like super easy, but I made it easy and everyone will be able to do it. Okay. So the only thing is that if you have done mousse cake course before with me, you will find it a bit easier. You already have the base of knowledge of how certain things work, but the skills and techniques are still going to be different at the end when we're going to be shaping and stuff like that and glazing and painting and all sorts of things. So today I'm going to tell you all about that. I'm going to show you a little presentation as well to just visually show you, so it's not just my face. And I know that quite a lot of you already signed up for the course. Can you put a 1 if you, or a heart or something if you already signed up for the course? Because I know some of you already have. Mm-hmm. One, Mary, Vaughn, Galina. Laura, yes. Okay, awesome. Yekaterina, exciting. Okay, so let's start. And I also, yeah, hopefully you will see how, non-complicated it is. Okay, so view. Mhm. 1 second. Okay, hang on. Let me just share my screen with you. You're gonna see me here. Okay, see if I can see somewhere here. Can everybody see the screen? Can you put a 1 if you can see it? Yeah. Laura, I love your hair. Are you going out later? I love it. We're gonna make the hair look nice. And Melita's literally in her hairdressers. I love this, guys. I love you guys. It's such an amazing community we have here. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this. Hopefully you can see me. Oh, let me just see the chat. Okay, I'll leave the window open somewhere here. Okay, so what is this? So these desserts are really more about art and creating art with your hands and using basically quite simple ingredients, which I'll tell you everything, what ingredients you're going to need, what molds we're going to need, how we're going to glaze it, everything that you need to know, okay? So that you can decide at the end if this is something that you want to, get into this project. But for most of you, you know who I am. For those of you who don't know, I'm Ala. I'm the founder of Ala's Yummy Food. I've been in the cake and food business for the last 12 years. I've done a bunch of things, from social media to being on podcasts, on TV shows, and all sorts of things. And at the end, I decided that, I'm mainly passionate about cakes. And so in the last 5-6 years, I've been mainly focusing on cakes. So I've transformed even my own journey from, YouTube to now a full-on cake school where we have thousands of students, completing courses every month, every year. And I'm very, very proud of that. So that's a little bit about me. It's not really about me. I mean, some people are still joining in. So how does this presentation work? Hang on. Got a lot of people coming in. Okay, so you can see the photos, right? You've probably seen the videos. That's why you opted in for the webinar, to learn more about this and be like, hey, how can I make this? And is this really for me at all? So what we're going to do, we have 8-week course coming out on 4th of May, and it's basically fruit and nuts. So nuts, of course, like as realistic as we can make them, but it's more about the actual extraordinary flavors that we're going to learn. And we're gonna literally learn everything, okay? From how to create the actual fruit, then how to put the fillings inside. So we create the fillings, then we're gonna learn how to mold them and shape them. Then we're gonna learn how to glaze them, and then we're gonna paint them. And finally, you can do, you can do a selection if you want to do it for fun. Actually, how many of you here want to do this for fun? Put a 1, and if you want to sell these, put a 2, because there is a market for it. It's more of a like high-end market. If you're thinking about like Cedric and the expensive like desserts, so there would be a market for it. And if you do decide to go into this niche, then you would probably be the only one doing this kind of thing. Okay, loads of 1s, but a couple of 2s, which is awesome. I guess the 2s are coming from those I can see Melissa, Robin, from the girlies that already sell the cakes, which is awesome because you can offer that to your clients. And then so it's all really, really actually easier than you might think. So the main goal of these desserts is to make it look still realistic, more or less. We obviously know that this is not real fruit, but from the distance, even from the distance, like the goal is to create it and make it look like the texture and appearance is like a real fruit or nut. Again, now these desserts itself, there's a lot of elements to each little dessert inside. So we're going to be making different techniques, different like custards, mousses, cremelles, confits, everything. If these words don't mean much to you, don't worry, we'll learn everything about it. For those of you who have studied, you know what it is. And you know, essentially, like what I want, you know, from you is that once you make these 8 fruits, you know, you're gonna be able to create maybe other fruits. I had so many ideas. Like I was thinking maybe I can create a plum or a passion fruit, and you'll be able to do that yourself at the end of the course, you know, because you will have the skills and you will understand. Now, to warn everybody, these desserts are not sweet. So if you're the type of person who likes very sweet desserts, this might not be for you. Okay, I just want to be honest, because these desserts are really, so imagine it's like basically eating that fruit in a dessert form. So that's all it is. It's just like a small portion of this heavenly bite. And the sweetness is still there. So don't get me wrong. It's not like they're not sweet. It's just more like very delicate, very balanced, a very right level of sweetness and sourness. And the chocolate around it, it is going to be sweet. So the glaze that we're going to make, it's a mix between cocoa butter and the chocolate. So that way it's not too hard, right? So if we just use the chocolate glaze, even if you use it with oil, it's not going to have the crunch. If we don't use the, if we just use the chocolate, it's not going to have the cut. It's just going to break and the shell is going to break. So the glaze has to be perfectly designed for this dessert, which is the cocoa butter and chocolate. And of course you can use food colorings if you want to. I actually had a message from someone saying that they don't want to use the food colorings in dessert, and that is absolutely fine because this is optional. Okay, if you don't want to, you can use natural food colorings, and it's okay as well. So yeah, these desserts are very, very, very balanced, and a lot of texture in each one. Okay, and again, they're visually pleasing, so you're gonna really be I don't know what's the right word. It's just out of every single dessert that I made, these are probably the most rewarding ones, because it's like you create each one and it's kind of like handcrafted. So it's more like an art. That's what I would call it. You know, it's like art, art rather than, you know, it's like a dessert in the thingy. So what are the most common challenges, okay, with these desserts? So the biggest thing is to make sure that the texture and appearance looks like real. That's why we're going to be using specific glaze, which I've just mentioned, which is cocoa butter and chocolate. And what are we going to do as well? We're going to be doing different colors. So for some of the fruit, we're going to be creating extra colors. Like for example, like let's say it's a white glaze. And then to make it like darker, we'll make the chocolate glaze and we're going to combine them together. And we're going to double dip or triple dip. And then we're also going to be using, instead of the spray gun, which a lot of the aerographer guns they use for these desserts, which again, I didn't want to make it super complicated. So in this course, you're not going to have that. We're literally just going to use a paintbrush and some colors. Okay. And again, you can use natural if you wanted to, but you know, for the effect, it's up to you. So this is really, you're just gonna be painting these fruit yourself. You don't need to get any expensive, crazy equipment, because these airbrushes, they do cost a lot. And I wanted to make sure that anyone can do it with just literally a couple of molds, you know, a cup where you can dip your desserts in, and, you know, paintbrush, right? So that's kind of the hardest thing, is to really achieve that texture and appearance. That's what people struggle with. Again, perfectly balancing the flavors with multi-layered desserts. Now, this is pretty tricky, especially if you don't know how to design desserts. Not everybody knows, and it's, you know, it's not something that you should know, right? If you're just here to learn how to make these beautiful desserts, you don't need to have a headache and figure out like, oh, how do I now create the balances of flavors that are gonna work, and which mousse goes with what filling, and how do I make it, and how do I enhance it, and what's not gonna leak. Because these desserts are very fragile in a sense that it's a mousse. So if you think about it, if we make a mousse dessert, we want to make sure that it's enclosed in some sort of form, which is a chocolate, and it doesn't leak. It doesn't break down, it doesn't leak, it stays there. Because otherwise, you know, if you think about a mousse dessert, well, it's not going to really stay there for a long time, okay? And if it's done wrongly, it's not going to work. They're just going to fall apart. Now, the smooth and consistency of everything inside, the filling, the stability, you know, working out the gelatin, working out, you know, the consistency of the mousse and lightness and all of that stuff. It's all already done. And these are the biggest challenges that people have. And again, obviously, you know, making sure it's not too sweet and nothing like that. So just to show you, for those of you who know this is me, you can see a photo there. I don't know, can you guys see me? Put a 1. I am, I think, 24 years old there. I can't remember actually, maybe 24, 25. Gosh, I feel like I look very young there. And these are my first desserts. I know some of you maybe seen these photos, but every time I look at them, I remind myself, you know, how far I've come. And then back then, you know, we didn't have any online courses. There was no information apart from some, you know, random YouTube tutorials or some information online. And, you know, I just want to say to you that it doesn't matter what level you're on. You're going to be able to make any desserts like this as well. Okay. And this is kind of the picture on the side, you know, how far, you know, I've changed, but obviously, you know, you don't need to spend 20 years, 10 years, you know, learning and then getting there. And I've done everything for my students. So you can start away and create these stunning desserts yourself, right? So without the stress. So how does it work? The main thing here, okay, is precision and creativity. So with these desserts, you have to be precise. We have to measure everything right. Like in any baking and desserts, you would have to measure everything correctly. The glazing also plays a big role. But the good thing with this glaze is that it's not, you can't ruin it. So if it sets, for example, when the glaze is warm and we're glazing our desserts, excuse me, if it starts to set, you can put it back in a microwave, warm it up, or in a pot. And the same with your desserts. You can shape and mold your fruits and desserts, maybe 2 at a time, you know, even 1 at a time. Like make it like fun process. We use a different range of ingredients to replicate the textures and flavors of real fruits and nuts. So for example, I will show you in a minute which desserts we're going to make. You've probably seen it, but still I want to tell you. But for example, we're replicating. So if this is a mango, if we're making a mango fruit, we want to make sure that the main flavor of that dessert is mango. Now, these are a bit unusual desserts in a way because they are basically it's a mango in every single texture and flavor. So for example, with a mango dessert, we have the mango pieces, we have the mango, you know, the juice, we have the mango cream, we have the mango creme brulee, and basically everything about that dessert has a mango element in it. Maybe you've seen these cooking shows sometimes. I don't know if you guys watch cooking shows, but you know, when they ask you, for example, when they say like, oh, make me something from strawberries, and that's your main ingredients, and then they have to create like a dessert or a cake with just using 1 or 2 ingredients. So this is kind of a similar idea here. That's why these desserts are so fancy. That's why they actually improve your baking and pastry skills to like next level. Because imagine you're making one dessert not only that looks like, let's say, mango, but every single element has mango in it, and that in itself is amazing. So it's like if somebody is obsessed with mangoes or apples or cherries or I don't know, oranges or any other fruit, you can literally create that dessert with different textures and replicate it, and honestly people go crazy. Now, we of course, you know, learning all the techniques like glazing and molding to achieve their realistic appearances. The one amazing thing about this course is that there's no pressure in the sense of how these fruit and vegetable, no vegetable, well, actually we have one vegetable. Well, tomato is technically a fruit, but we can have that debate. Do you guys think tomato is a fruit or a vegetable? Put like vegetable or fruit in the chat. Yeah, exactly, Mary. That's crazy. A mango, that's actually a mango flavored cake. Yes, exactly. That's the point. So yeah, so we are molding and shaping these fruit and nuts, but the point is that all the fruit in nature are different. The same with nuts. So you can actually take away that pressure by making them perfect, all of them. And I actually really like that all my tomatoes were different sizes. And I'll show you, obviously, if you come to the course, you will see how we're going to create different sizes and how we're going to create the shapes. But yeah, it's really cool because you're like, wow, like even the desserts are different shapes and sizes, like in real life. Okay, we have split veggies, fruit, veggie, fruit. I know it's a fruit, but still considers a vegetable. Yeah, I kind of agree with that, right? It is a fruit technically, but in my mind, it is a veggie. Mm. However, some tomatoes are super sweet, so they taste really good. Now, what elements are we going to use to make these desserts, right? So we're going to be using fruit purees, ganaches, glazes, mousses, cremelles, and sponges, okay? So it really, there's a whole variety of skills in here. That's why we call this class intermediate. Now, because you're really gonna learn a lot here. This is not your, simple like make one thing and then mold it and that's it. Every single dessert has different flavors, different glazes. Everything is very different. We even included a mirror glaze in here because for our cherries and apples, we're gonna create a shiny coating, which you could potentially do for other fruit as well. But I only did it for two, so you also learn the skill of mirror glazing. So if you wanted to learn mirror glazing, which is a slightly different recipe to the usual one, it's more simple, but it's perfect for these desserts because we don't need anything complicated, right? Yeah, so it's really basically, I call it edible art. um so why did I pick these fruits? Okay, so I've spent a lot of time, a lot of practice and a lot of testing with my family, with my friends. I was even selling these in Latvia because I developed these in Latvia in my kitchen, and I selected all the unique fruits and most common ones and most popular ones, but also with a skill level. Okay, so that not only you make the common fruits, but also you get a lot of skill from these as well. Now, every recipe is pretty straightforward and very, very user-friendly. So you can do this at home. Like I said, most of my students are home bakers. Either they sell or they just do it for fun at home for family and friends. I do have several students that do sell in large quantities or even work for coffee shops or sell to the work offices and so forth. So, but they are all designed to be user friendly. So that's why it took me a while to also create this course, because I've done so many myself and they were very, very complicated with many things. And I was like, right, let's make this simple. And again, these are very different and innovative desserts. Okay, so they're very different concepts of what people think about as a dessert, setting you apart in the art of dessert making, right? So I'm sure nobody in your area has ever tried anything like this. I mean, I think 90% of you haven't even haven't even tried this yourself, right? So these are really, really unique. So this is my favorite part. I'm gonna tell you the desserts that we're gonna make in this 8-week course, and you can tell me which one is standing out the most for you. Oh shit, the presentation hasn't been updated, but it's okay. Sorry, we're not making coffee bean. Don't wanna. So we're gonna make apple. So we have apple ganache. So majority of the desserts here as well, they're gonna be made with ganaches and mousses. Now, ganaches are very creamy and soft mixture, which is not sweet, but it's made with like chocolate and cream, and it's just like, different flavors depending on what it is, with purees or alcohol sometimes, or spices or liqueurs, all sorts of things depending on what it is. So for apple, technically, I call this like an apple pie. And we're gonna learn how to make apple ganache, apple pie filling, and technically every single filling, when you cut the dessert, is gonna ooze out. I cut mine when they were a little bit frozen so I can get the pictures. As we have to do a lot of backstage work to create a good photography and videography. But when you do it at home and when you actually cut the desserts, the apple filling should ooze out a little bit. With every single filling, it should ooze out a little bit. And that's why these desserts are a little bit tricky, because the filling is going to be so encapsulated in the ganache, and it needs to be super tight in there, because if you leave any filling out and there is a little hole outside, then the dessert can leak because the filling will be watery, and so when it leaks, then the dessert will break and crack. We can also make the chocolate layer, And then we're gonna make the mirror glaze. So you can see that this, you know, and you can choose any colors for apples. I made them the green one. I think, what are these called in English? I forgot, like, but you know, with the little dots, is it the, I forgot the English name. No, coffee will be in the extra bundle. So decorating and shaping, right. So we have a lemon. Now, this was actually one of my favorites. And my grandma loved the lemon one. It's more on the sour side, but it's very refreshing. So again, we're going to be making a very sharp lemon filling, lemon ganache, a lemon chocolate layer. I will give you a neutral glaze to glaze the lemon if you wanted to create more of a glossy look, but if you didn't, you just leave it as it is. And again, decorating, shaping dessert. Now, lemon, we do have to work a lot with our hands, and we actually shape the whole lemon. We make half of it and then we shape the rest of it. And again, like, it's super fun. It's not hard. It's very easy. And it's really, you really get into this. Like I said, we work a lot with our hands. Now, the peanut is also one of, if this was the top one. So if you're a fan of like caramel and peanuts and all of that, this is gonna blow your mind. So we obviously shape them as real peanuts. Well, as realistic as we can. They're giant peanuts. And we're gonna make our peanut cream, homemade caramel, peanut butter praline. We're gonna make peanut butter ganache, and we're gonna make our chocolate glaze. But the chocolate glaze is gonna be specifically with the golden colors. So there's a different type of glaze. We're adding different elements to it, all chocolate. And so it creates that kind of golden peanutty color. And then, of course, shaping the dessert so they have that indent in the nut. And by the way, we're doing everything with cling film. Okay, so all the nuts, you don't need any molds. Okay, so for the apple and you know, the round fruits, we do need one mold, but you can also do it without the mold if you wanted to. But for any peanuts and pistachios and other, like, you know, even like tomatoes, we're going to be using cling film. So everybody has a cling film, right? And it costs like a couple of bucks. Golden Delicious, yes, that's the one. Yes. Yes, we have 8 lessons in the course. Okay. Does each recipe make one fruit or nut, or does the recipe make multiples? Yeah, of course it makes multiples. So we would make, you know, 6 lemons, I don't know, 5 peanuts, depending. And you can make more, right? Depending, you can just multiply the recipes. We also have a guide to multiply. Now, the next one is our orange. Now, this is going to have an orange filling, okay? And then here we're going to be having a yogurt orange mousse. So instead of the ganache, we're having a yogurt mousse, which is a very light mousse. Tastes like yogurt and orange together. Is really, really like fresh. All these desserts are perfect for the summer. Like, they're perfect, to be honest, at any time, but it's perfect for everybody who doesn't like heavy desserts. And you can have one fruit, right? And it's still gonna have, most of it is gonna be that fruit. And then again, we're gonna have the shaping and decorating and glazing of the dessert. And then the mango that I've just described to you earlier. So we have the mango cream. So mango cream is gonna be made with custardy base. So it's gonna be a mango custard cream. Then we have our mango ganache filling, which is a lot of mango. So for those of you who love mangoes, you're gonna love this dessert. It's gonna take you to your tropical heaven. And again, we're gonna do different chocolate glazes. We're gonna, either you can keep it yellow, green, or red, or you can do double colors, or you can paint it over. And I'll show you everything, like the techniques, how we do it. But like I said, this is really fun. You just kind of get in there, put some music on, and start creating once they're all set. Then we have our pistachio and tomato. Okay, so pistachio, again, one of my favorites. The pistachio nuts are going to be smaller than the peanuts. I think it makes around 10 or something like that. We're going to make a chiffon pistachio sponge, which is basically a very, very light sponge. And it's gonna complement the whole dessert, because we don't want any heavy sponges in the actual cake, right? So it's technically a pistachio cake. We have pistachio custard cream. So again, we're making a pistachio custard that's gonna be shaping the dessert inside. We're then also going to be making pistachio ganache here, which is going to cover the actual nut around so we can shape it. And again, we're using cling film here. We're not using any molds, so you don't need anything fancy. We're just going to use our hands and cling film. We're also gonna make pistachio praline, which is insane. And then we're gonna do a double glaze. As you can see here, some pistachios have a bit of a darker color, and I'll show you a technique that we're gonna use to create, you know, the different colors. But you can of course just make them green or dark black and green. It's up to you, right? And you can see that all the nuts are different colors. And you can even make the little white, speckles on top of the nuts. Because, you know, sometimes when you buy a bag of nuts, they have that salt. So this is kind of like a salt representation on there. Now, the next dessert might blow everyone's mind because you're like, what the hell? Why am I making tomato? How is the tomato dessert? Anyone here is like confused. Why is it a tomato? Put a 1 if you're like, wow, like I definitely want to try that. Put a 2 if you're a little bit skeptical. You're like, what the hell? Why is it a tomato? I've never seen anything like these. Thank you. Does each, yeah, wait, hover. The orange and lemon look so realistic. Wow, everything looks so real and delicious. Yes, yum, yum, yum. Okay, so 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, so it's a mix. Mix. So I'm gonna tell you right away that the tomato dessert, actually, I had to work on it for a bit because I needed to make sure that it's very different, and it actually is incredible. So we do have a tomato filling in there, but most people can't tell, only if you tell them, right? It's a very small tomato filling. We're using sweet cherry tomatoes, just in case people were wondering. And we're also using strawberry. So it's actually tomato and strawberry filling. Now, I was actually inspired by this dessert when I went out in Riga last year for, I think, my sister's birthday. And we tried a tomato strawberry dessert. And I was blown away. I didn't actually want to order it because I thought it was a bit weird. But the waitress kind of pushed me on it. She's like, look, you might as well try something new. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, whoa, it blew my mind. So that's why I wanted to replicate something similar, but even better. So the actual filling it does have the tomato, but it's mainly strawberry. So it's like tomato strawberry puree with tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes and strawberries. And of course, if you completely didn't want to have tomatoes, you can just make it into the strawberry, okay? There is a bit of a typo. It's not a tomato ganache. We're making chocolate ganache. Sorry, my Marissa must have made a mistake. Apologies, but it's a chocolate ganache and it's incredible. It's super creamy, very, very complimentary with strawberries. And we're also going to be making a crumbled chocolate layer, which is basically a chocolate cookie that goes underneath the puree, which you cannot see here. It's hard to see in a photo, but yeah, it's basically delicious. So you're going to have a lot of texture in every single dessert right here. And then I'm going to show you how to create these tomatoes. Again, we're only going to be using cling film, using our hands, shaping, molding once they're frozen, and so forth. So you can create smaller tomatoes, you can create bigger tomatoes, you can even create mini version of every single fruit, but they're still quite small, you know. We have some people joining in now. If you're joining in now, we're already half probably way through the webinar, but it's okay, there will be a replay. And so what I want to say about all of these flavors and desserts is that they have all the different textures. So we have the crunchy side, we have the smooth like ganache side, we have the texture from every single fruit, okay, or the nuts, then we have the crunchy side. You know, and we have basically all of these all in one bite, and these desserts are really just magical. Like, I don't think there's anything like that, right? Like, you cannot have so much flavor in one tiny dessert. Now, how is it so far? Which dessert did you guys think was like the most like amazing one? Which one would you want to make? And or you probably want to make all of them. Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Lemon, all pistachio, lemon, orange, mango, the apple, tomato, apple and pistachio, mango, pistachio, all of them. Awesome. Oh yeah, somebody asked like how do we make the stems and stuff like that. So you can make them from chocolate, but to not overcomplicate it, I actually cheated a little bit, right? So what I recommend is just use real fruit bits and just add them on top to make it a more realistic look. If you obviously like creating more, you can, use icing sugar or like, the paste and then just mold it out. But a lot of the times you use just like the real fruit. So apple, all of them, orange, pistachio, mango. I'll answer a few questions in a bit. Now, what tools are you going to need? So I'm going to show you now. This is pretty much all you're going to need. Doesn't this look incredible? We only need like a few tools, which can people comment, say one if you have probably more than half of these tools already in your house. I mean, I'm sure all of you have baking trays, kitchen scale, mixing bowls, right? The tools doesn't look very complicated. I think I might be able to do that. Yes, for sure. So the only mold that I recommend for you to get is the first one. So it's Dolce Tartufolo. It's by Silicon Mart, okay? 52 mm. So definitely get that one because all the recipes are for that. And it's obviously Italian mold. It's very good quality, and we can make pretty much any round fruit in that mold. So we're talking about our apples, cherries. We're actually going to make cherries as well, guys. It's just it was not included in the presentation, but the cherries in there too. Apologies, we didn't update the webinar presentation. So yeah, you can make your cherries, your apples, your oranges, pretty much any round fruit. So if you wanted to go further, if you wanted to make, let's say, like I don't know, plums, or you wanted to make passion fruit, you could also use that mold. Now, if you cannot get this mold, you can also get just the typical round mold. Slightly bigger than this one is the standard one that we have, and we also included that in your list in case you can't get this one. The only difference why I recommend using this mold if you're planning to, when you're planning to make these desserts, is that you save yourself a lot of time. Because another way to make these desserts is by basically putting them. Can everyone see my mouse when I'm circling? I don't know if you can. Can you put a yes if you can, just to make sure? But when you use these molds, so you basically would fill half of the ganache into the mold, then put your filling in. You then have to freeze it. Then you would have to, once it's frozen, you would have to demold them, then put more ganache into that filling, turn over the other filling, put it there together, and then freeze it again. So technically, if you're gonna use this mold, not the round one, you're gonna maybe increase your cooking time by a couple of hours. If you don't mind doing that, that's okay. Then we will have more instructions, how to do it. We have it in your recipes. But if you can get this mold, like I said, it's only like 2 molds that you need to get. And then we're gonna need the Easter egg silicone mold to shape other desserts, the nuts, the coffee, the other stuff, okay? And then the other desserts we're shaping with just cling film, okay? So you're just gonna need plastic wrap or cling film. And we are gonna need the mini molds. So mini molds, these are gonna be for our fillings as well. And there are molds that are deeper, like smaller ones, and you can use those as well. But here we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna create, several fillings. Like let's say if it's 6 desserts, you're gonna create 12 fillings, and then you're gonna shape them together because we want to create large bowl inside the dessert. And then of course mixing bowls, kitchen scale, rolling pin, only for the cookie, piping bags, baking trays, parchment paper. Hand blender is a must because we're blending a lot of our ganaches, mirror glazes, emulsifying the custards, and so forth. Electrical hand mixer, again, we're going to be whisking creams and things like that, or whisking some sort of batters. So it's important to have a hand whisk. Pots for making all the purees and creme leurs. And so, yeah, how easy does this list look? No? Put a 1 if that looks easy. What do we have? 1. I have almost everything. A stone is better at crafts and arts than I am. This seems very arty. I can't even stuff tissue in a gift bag. Yes, yes, yes. I cannot find the egg molds in stock anywhere. They should be everywhere because these are very basic egg molds, and you know, Easter was just around the corner. Maybe they finished, but we'll help you find it. Don't worry. Can I use my daughter instead of an electrical mixer? Uh, well, yes, technically you can. You mean she's gonna be mixing it for you, right? Yes. So, let me just, can you guys see me? You can't see me. Okay, maybe you can see me now. I just realized I turned myself off. Can you see me now? Hello. That's me. Um, yeah, so in terms of tools, you don't need anything complicated. Laura just said Walmart has the Easter molds. So there you go. Thanks. I'll go to more or less Amazon and Temu. Yeah, so again, like I said, I want to make sure they are not complicated for you, right? So you can create these. But they are art. You know, these are artistic desserts. If you're a hobby baker, I think this course is definitely for you because it's a lot more creative. It's more with hands. It's more like something that you love doing at home with a bit of music. It's like your escape, right? Meditation. And that's what it was for me, right? With other cakes, you sometimes can do them on autopilot, right? Just mix the batter, put it in the oven, and it's done. Here, it's very arty. So if you're a creative person, how many here are you a creative person? Put a one if you're a creative person. So we know. One, 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 one. Yeah, so it's really for those who like creating, okay? Because I'm telling you, if you're not a very creative person, like if you don't like using your hands, this might not be for you, okay? Just because this is really fun. It's more like craft. But then it's so delicious at the end. It's almost like, okay, I've deserved to eat this now, you know? Um yeah, so we are gonna basically having a different type of experience, which is very visual, which is very like hands-on, and it's very artistic, okay? So like I said, this is really perfect for anybody who wants to expand their baking repertoire, right? If you want to add those extra skills with these innovative and eye-catching creations, if you're maybe wanting to stand out in your market and you want to become the next Cedric, you know, you never know. You can't dream little, right? We want to dream big. Maybe you want to open a bakery or a coffee shop where you're going to create maybe a couple of fruits and become really famous for that. Imagine like nowadays, if you think about it, everything is Instagrammable. As much as we don't want to think about it, if you're especially in a sales cakey, if you're selling cakes, I mean, if you're in a cake business, you want to create things that stand out, that people want to take photos, videos of. And I know that there's been so many places that have been around the world that opened a coffee shop. Maybe they do like unicorn hot chocolate. Another place opens donuts that have, you know, 3 or 4 key fillings. Then the other place opens like fruit or something. You know, there's always something that needs to stand out. And if it's something that, you know, you wanted to create like a fancy type of place, and or maybe like open something like this and create these desserts, then you know that it would really stand out because people haven't seen this. People not only haven't seen this, they've never even tried this. But yeah, so it's just like very talented, you know, talented desserts. So the class starts 4th of May. Let me just see. Actually, one of my favorite things about your courses is the complete links for all the ingredients and tools in the course itself. So easy. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, we do provide as much as we can. Pamela, the artist in me is thrilled about making these. What molds we need again? Sorry, blower. Well, you can rewatch it later. I like it when I'm awful at it. Mine look like crumpets paper. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention is that for these desserts, like we obviously didn't include the whole list of ingredients, like, but you know, because we'll be here all day. But what's important is that we're going to be using gloves. Okay, so I really want to accentuate that. You're going to need gloves because again, we're working with our hands and these are desserts that melt. So ganache itself is very soft. And in order to work with it, there will be times, like I said, you would shape dessert, you'd have to put them back in the freezer. You would cut out, like, let's say if it's a peach or something, or apple or orange, you would create the little indents and shape it, and then you would freeze it. And once we glaze the cakes as well, what's very important, mistakes that you don't want to make is that you're going to use tissue, like a normal tissue, you know, when I don't know, like the paper tissue that when you're sick, you blow your nose, but we're just gonna not do that. We're gonna use it for the desserts. Because the desserts are so delicate and the glaze, it's very easy to do the glaze, but it has fingerprints. So if you don't use the tissue, you're not going to be able, you're going to leave like your fingers on there. So every time we're going to glaze the desserts, we're going to do anything, we're always going to use the paper tissue, and move it up and down, transfer the desserts and stuff like that. So like I said, I will show you and explain everything to you, and in more detail, so that you can really make it like perfect and there's no mistakes. So the class starts 4th of May, which is, when is that? That's like in 2 weeks, isn't it? Let me look at my calendar. Yeah, 2 weeks exactly. So you have 2 weeks to prepare in case you don't have some ingredients. Now deliveries are super fast. You can order everything on Amazon. It will come to you, or say go to Walmart. And it's 8 weeks. And so, oh, some people are still joining in. So what are we going to do? Think about this now, if this is for you, okay? So first, you're going to learn everything from scratch. You're going to experiment with different shapes and forms. And again, you're going to work a lot with your hands. It's a very creative process. I would say it's more creative and then desserts. If you, of course, want to, sell these desserts, there is a lot of opportunities for that. And a lot of potential there, because look at Cedric. He's taken over the whole world. And you're obviously going to gain lots of new skills, lots of new techniques and everything. And if you've never baked before, if you're a complete beginner, this might be like, wow, like you will learn a lot, and you might just need to take it a little bit slower so that you can learn each element and feel comfortable with it. If you already have some previous experience, this will be much easier for you from the making side of it. And yeah, you will just have a lot of fun. And if you have kids, they will definitely love it. You can play the game with them. Is this, here you go, here's an apple. And you know what kids do? Because I have like little brothers and sisters, they actually take the dessert, not like in the plate, like we cut it with a knife and fork. They literally take it in their hand and they were biting it. And that's why when I was recording my videos, I was like, oh, I might do that as well. I might do that for the camera, and like you bite it and you can feel the crunch and hear it. So yeah, we're gonna master everything, how to make them look, how to achieve the smooth, perfect finishes, tackle the challenges, right? And make multiple unique desserts and fruits. Again, these are advanced molding and glazing techniques, once we get there. But I've tried to make it as simple as possible so that you can do it yourself. And like, for example, you see here, these are mandarins. So you can also make mandarins after. So it would be the same techniques as oranges. But you see also even here, they did not use the real, they did not use the sugar paste to create the leaves. They took it from real mandarins. And so a lot of the pastry shops and places, when you make these desserts, they actually use the real stems and real leaves, or tomato, stems and stuff like that, to put it on the dessert, because it's almost like, it makes it more realistic. Yes, you don't eat it, but you just take it off. But for that like look, you want to do that. Again, you're definitely gonna impress all your friends, your family. You're gonna impress yourself. At the end of the day, you're probably doing it for yourself, right? More than anyone else would be doing this for anyone else, like for the family, for the kids, or just for yourself. Because I love learning. I mean, I don't know if that's like, I love to learn, and then I'm impressing myself, and then I'm like, okay, now it's time to impress everyone else. But at the end of the day, it's for me. It's kind of like, it's me time. I want to create all this beautiful stuff and create all of that. Let's see what's everyone saying. For the family and friends. Awesome. Yeah. They're gonna be stunned. I'm so excited to make something new. I love the idea of selling these. I would buy them. Yeah, they're definitely very pretty. So by the way, guys, just to give you like a price point, these types of desserts go for around $15 per dessert. So, this is a high end, and people do buy these, it's a different type of market, but people are willing to pay for that because it looks realistic, and they're like, wow, I definitely want to try this. What is the ending date for the class? So it will be 8 weeks, and then we'll probably give you extra time. I'll be baking this for my clients. Yes. So you're always going to get a certificate with all my courses. You get certificate and further support. So if you wanted to start the class, but you're traveling, you're away, you will have access to the course, you know, throughout the time, and you'll have the support. So if you're traveling, don't worry about it. I think someone messaged me, well, a couple of you messaged me saying like, I might be leaving in the beginning or halfway through. You know, we'll have life. It's normal. We have life, but we don't want to stop our learning, our anything, because we have life things. We're always going to have things going on. And that's why I know that. I understand that. That's why like I always offer support. You know, even after the course, we always give you support, you know, just in case you want to make this dessert again, you can ask us anything. What are you going to get with the course? For those of you who are new, you're going to get a mentor throughout the whole course. It's going to be Wendy. Wendy's one of my students. She's done all of my courses. And so she knows everything like her right hand, and she's going to be guiding you through the whole process. She's been testing the recipes after I've created the course, and she's been doing them at home and, you know, playing around with if there were any mistakes and so forth. So she's going to be guiding you throughout the whole 8 weeks, and I will also be there. We're going to be also having live weekly support with me as well. So every time we do a new course, I'm there with you. So I know for majority of you always join in the beginning, and you get the best things, best everything. And then if we relaunch this course in the future, we will do replays. But for this course, I'm still going to be doing live weekly support, which means we get live like this for an hour every week, and we can talk about your desserts, what went wrong, what went right, what to look out for, what to fix, what to tweak, so that you feel that you're not alone on this journey. Because the biggest failure for most people is that they're alone in this journey. You know, they're like, they just do it on their own. Something doesn't work out. They don't have anybody to ask. They don't have a teacher to ask, or even if they ask, it's like a comment. And then, you know, like it's like 3 days later, somebody replies to you. By that time, you're already like, I don't know, done 200 things. So not only have the live weekly support with me, which is very, very valuable, because I will personally, you know, deal with your issues. You also have the mentorship every day. So, you know, for whatever you need. And you also have the community, which is the best aspect, right? You can support each other. You can see each other fruits and nuts, and you're going to get inspired from your creations, because again, this is a creative process, and every time there is a community, we all learn from each other. We help each other, we go through together. And I've realized, you know, after doing statistics over the last 5 years, students that join in the community, join when the course starts, you know, we do it live, they perform 80% better than those who join on their own. So when you join on your own and when you do it on your own, usually it's about 10 to 20% of completion. You see the statistics is crazy. It's like 10% versus 80%. And that's just psychology. We humans, we like people. We like to do the same things together. We like to experience the same things together. So here, again, it's more like a family, you know, baking vacation, right? That's what I call it. We start together, we bake together every week, we come together, we chat, we look at it, we help each other, we support each other, and we just enjoy these desserts, and we exchange with positive, sometimes negative emotions. It just depends, right? But it's our space, it's our community, it's our safe heaven where nothing in the world matters. We're just talking about desserts. There's no politics, there's no bad news, there's no trouble. It's just like, hey, I love your oranges, I love these desserts. How can I make it like that? Or just giving each other, you know, a lot of support and positive energy. That's what I love about it. And I think, you know, my students here can what's it called, validate that. You do make more challenging recipes easier. I get a lot of compliments on each of your cakes I have made, and consider myself a beginner for sure. Nice, nice, nice. Perfect, finishing just in time 4th of July celebrations. Can I just ask what dates and how long per session? So the videos themselves, they're not going to be super long. Okay. So what I have done again in this course, we have, because this is more of an intermediate level, I have split each element into mini short video. So what does that mean? And I can show you actually back end if you want to, but that means that you will have different ganaches, different fillings, different glazes and everything separately in each video. So if you then wanted to combine, let's say you wanted to make an apple that had maybe an apple filling, but like an orange mousse. I don't know, you might want to experiment, right? Like at the end of the day, it's desserts. You could just look at that footage, take it from there, and then create your own creation. And that's why I'm splitting it up for you. So then later you can just make whatever elements that you personally liked. Because usually we have one long video, but here, because it's more intermediate, I wanted to break each level separately so you can kind of go back and forth. Or, you know, if you wanted to complete maybe some elements before and then some elements after, then it's just kind of easier for you, you know. And that's kind of the feedback we were getting from students before. They like when the lessons are like split up. So like, again, I don't really like, you know, you know, why my fruit and nut dessert course? I mean, you know, community and everything speaks for itself. So if you're new to me, all I can say is that I care about you. I care about your results. I am very honest and caring person. I've always cared about every single student. I'm always involved. I will never, you know, just take you and leave you there. You will always achieve results with me. And if you can't, then we will figure it out what the problem is. I mean, we had students with other courses, like, you know, especially like mirror cakes, like, you know, we had problems maybe 3-4 times where we got to the issue and we fixed it. So you're never alone here. And that's all I can say. I'm not gonna be selling myself here because I don't really, you know, I'm doing this for passion, right? Like I have many other things that are going on, and this is really just what I'm really passionate about. And so I really care about all my students. My goal is really just to teach you more crazy things, more crazy flavors, more desserts, and to really to make you happy, because this makes me happy. You know, like I started baking because I was not in a very good place emotionally and mentally. And for me, baking has always been that happy place. And I don't think like it will ever change, you know? And so when I create new things, like I said in the beginning, I always think about you guys because I have a lot of students that done pretty much all of my courses. And that's why I create more, because I'm like, right, we got to get on this trend. Let's try this. Let's do this. Let's make it more fun and easy. So how does it all sound so far? I think I'm losing my voice. Put a 1 if it all sounds exciting and good. I don't know why I'm losing my voice. I haven't spoken so long in a long time. Yeah, it's like a book club. It's just like, that's why we call it Cake Club. It's like a big family. Thank you so much. So much support. I love it. We will learn to do avocados. Yes. So yes, I will tell you about some bonuses. So first, I'm just going to wrap this up now, just for those who are more visual. What you're going to get. So it's 8-week fruit and nut course, lifetime access if you opt in for a full package. Certificate, which is digital, going to be sent to you straight away after 1 week when you finish the course. You get access to our supportive community. It's a separate Facebook group for just us. It's private, so nobody else can get in there. And you can share all your lows, all your wins, everything, whatever you want, okay? All your desserts. You're going to get weekly coaching sessions with me. And of course, you're going to get a mentor throughout the entire course. And ideally, what we recommend is to submit your cake every week. Now, if you for some reason can't, or you're delayed, or you're rushed, I don't know, you're on holiday, I don't know, your cat has an allergy, you know, you didn't complete the homework, it's okay, because you have 8 weeks essentially to do all of your cakes. So you can maybe 1 week submit 2 or 3 cakes. Maybe next week you only just do 1 cake, yeah? So it's really up to you. We recommend doing 1 cake a week, so it's not stressful. So it's more like, oh, this is me time every Saturday or every Sunday or Friday, whatever day you have for you. And you block that time literally in a calendar. You block it off, you're like cooking. For me, everyone leave the house, I'm putting some music on, I'm putting my show on, whatever, right? It's just me time, and you create those desserts. And so that's what we recommend doing every week. And that's what you're getting. Now, we are going to give you lots of bonuses. This is like a relatively new thing that we started doing, but our students appreciate that. So we give everybody bonuses if they get the full package. So we're going to give you a guide on how to sell your fruit and nut desserts. Bonus 2, we're going to also give you a social media planner for selling success. What that means is that we have planned a whole social media for 2 weeks with all the written posts for you for each dessert, how to promote your brand and how to sell each cake. So if you're the type of person who doesn't know what to say, doesn't even know how it works, but for example, you want to sell the cakes, you can use these templates and just copy and paste, change it to your name, to your business name, or maybe change some wording if it doesn't, resonate 100% with you, and just copy and paste it. So it's all the templates, everything is done for you. You just take it and paste it, and that comes as a bonus for free with the course. We're also going to give you a bonus of troubleshooting guide. You're going to do it through the entire course, obviously live, and you're going to see all the problems, but it's really good to have a guide at the end of the course, because let's say 2-3 months later passes, and then you want to make these desserts again. You might forget about all the mistakes that there potentially could be. Instead of rewatching all the webinars or whatnot, you will have the troubleshooting guide, which will tell you, okay, don't do this, do this. This can happen because of that, and so forth. Like I said, I'm always trying to think how to make your life easier and save you time. And that's why we're doing all these bonuses. Now we're also going to give you a dessert calculator. So again, if you want to calculate how much these desserts are, for example, like you're going to be selling them, especially for those who are selling them, you want to just put all your ingredients and then figure out what the actual cost of making them. By the way, they're not actually that expensive to make, because it's quite small dessert. It's a smaller dessert than usual. It's a lot smaller, but the sales cost is higher, but it just takes longer, again, because we're shaping them, especially in the beginning. As you get used to them, you actually become faster. The fifth bonus is your fruit and nut storage live guide. So these desserts are very different from any other desserts that we have, and I will actually briefly touch upon that in a second. Just remind me, actually I need to write this down. Storage, shelf life, after I finish the presentation. Shelf life. Okay. So and it's a guide, again, like just for your reference, so in case you forget, you can just look at that quickly and it's there. Now bonus 7 is your order inquiry template for these desserts. So again, if you're going to be selling them, you can send people this form that they just fill, and you don't need to do it. Okay, you can customize it to yourself, of course, but again, trying to save you time and money here. So what do we have? Okay, okay, I don't think the presentation's been updated because we actually have different pricing here. Okay, I'm gonna kill my assistant. I'm just gonna show you the website because it might be easier, because this is wrong information. Hang on 1 second. This is what happens when you don't check. So yeah, let me just show you. So we have only 2 packages for the course. Okay, so the full package, share screen, share. Can you guys see this? Can you put a 1 if you can see this? Oh, so I know doesn't look crazy. So we have only 2 packages. The basic package, which gets you everything, from all your lessons and everything, your support group, everything, weekly chats and everything. It doesn't give you the certificate, and it doesn't include any bonuses. And one important thing is the access to the course is 1 year. Okay, so if you're the type of person who's like, you know what, I don't need anything, I don't need this, I'm never gonna make these again in my life, a 1 year is a long time. So even if you don't want to start like right now, you can make it later. Most of my students, I would say 95% of students go for the full package, because it's just nice to have lifetime access. And the reason we do it, just because, we give 2 options. So the full package really is same thing, includes all the bonuses, includes the certificate, and also includes lifetime access. Now, it's just a preference. It's up to you. Now, the prices you see here are actually lower, because right now, I think it's until end of next week, we're still giving $100 off for everybody who comes to the webinar and comes on the wait list. So the basic package is actually $350, and the full package is only $450. So that only is valid for the next week, I believe, unless I got the dates wrong. But so yeah, so these are already discounted for the majority of people. So if anybody lands on my website, that's what they see. but we're discounting extra for those of you who came to the webinar, who know me, who already done the courses. We're giving you extra $100 off. And then if you want a monthly package, we have a 2 months payment plan. It's a 300, or it's going to be cheaper, obviously, if it's $100 off. But only because it's double payment, it charges us double commission. So we have to add a little bit of extra. That's why monthly payments are usually $15 more, just because of that, because we get charged through the third party. Does it all make sense? Put a 1 if it all makes sense. What do we have here? 111 sounds amazing. Sounds like fun. Perfect. I'm definitely selling these at the farmers market. Wow, very brave. Perfect. Thank you. Sorry, I'm gonna go. Yes, you're always generous. Thank you. Which week will we need the dolce da formal? It seems to be out of stock. I guess all my students got the mold. This is what happens. This is what happens. You know, I tell everyone get the mold, and the mold is sold out. Well, we're gonna, you know, you still got good 3 weeks until the course starts. And I think the first dessert is apple, so we're gonna need it in our first week. But you have time. If you can't get that specific one, there are other ones that are maybe not this specific brand, you know, because this one is a silicone mart, so the silicone quality is just a bit thicker. Again, with silicone molds, there's different types of molds, and what's important is that you get the thicker one. The cheaper the silicone is, the more plasticky it is and more fragile it is. And technically, it's not like it impacts the dessert so much, but it doesn't make it firm. So for example, if you put it on a tray and let's say it's round, if it's cheap, it's going to create this dent underneath. And sometimes, let's say if we want a round dessert like an orange, we don't want any dent. So I always recommend going for like medium quality or higher quality. And if you can't get that specific one, we can try and help you and find like the alternatives, because there is loads of on Amazon, you know, they resell them, they rebuy them, those ones. Now, last thing what I want to do is what I want to cover is the storage and shelf life, okay, about the desserts. And then I'm going to open the Q&A so you can ask me any questions, unless actually, I hope I didn't miss anything at the presentation. Let me just find out. I think I mentioned the bonuses, and I'll go over some frequently asked questions at the end as well, but I will take the questions live as well. So now the storage and the shelf life. So there is good news and there is bad news. Which one do you want first? Put good or bad in the comment section. Two types of news, okay? About storage and shelf life. Bad. And don't worry, those who asked questions, I will look back at them as well. Will we be able to buy the add-on fruits and package even if we buy the basic package? Yes, Nicole, you can. Oh yeah, let me quickly tell you that yeah, so the add-ons, we also have the add-ons. While you're replying, if you want good and bad news, I'm gonna pull this up quickly and show you. Yeah, so for those of you, it doesn't matter which package you buy. So the basic package or the full package that you buy, you can always add on the extra cakes. So what do we have? We have special extra bundle that's gonna pop up only once you purchase the course. We might offer this after, I think we will offer it after you've done the course, in case you're like, okay, you've done these 8 desserts and you're like, I want more. We have the extra 4 dessert. I know some of you already bought the extras. You know already my recipes. You're like, I'm getting the whole thing. Right, Mary? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you can, but there is an option to get this later. So it's again, like we always offer, like, you know, always offer, like if you want it, it's there. If you don't want it, there is no pressure whatsoever. Again, like I want you to be happy at the end of the day. I just want you to learn as much as possible. I'm going to show you the extra bundle of what desserts we have in there. I don't have the descriptions of them, but I will try and describe it to you. Can you guys see my screen? So the extra 4 bundle, we're going to learn how to make the peach. So we're going to learn the peaches, which are amazing, by the way, for the summer as well. Oh my God. If you're a fan of peaches, yeah, this one is like top. We're also going to learn how to make a pear. So a pear, very, very delicious. It's a vanilla orange mousse. I think it's like a pear filling with spices, again, decorating and shaping the dessert. And the peach, we're gonna use peach ganache, like rich peach ganache, juicy pear filling, and then again, chocolate coating around it. We're also gonna learn how to make realistic avocado. Now, this one is amazing. It's basically passion fruit, chocolate, and lime. So it's very fresh, very, very delicious in a chocolate, milk chocolate shell with a seed that is chocolate. So it's delicious. It's like passion fruit avocado cream, lime and avocado mousse, and then avocado chocolate skins. And again, the texture and everything, we're actually gonna be using real avocados, and we're gonna putting chocolate into the shells and then making those shells. So again, you don't need any special molds. I'm trying to make it as simple. And then the last one is the coffee bean. So if you're a fan of coffee, this is like, whoa, like explosion of your brains. The only thing is that it is one of the hardest desserts, right? So this one is really like, once you've learned everything, you're gonna be able to kind of make the coffee. And the coffee one, it's slightly a different one. We're also shaping it and molding it ourselves by hands, but it's a slightly different process. It's a bit more complicated. But yeah, we have our coffee ganache, coffee custard, we have praline in there, we have coffee sponge, and it's all enclosed in the chocolate glaze, like the actual darkened milk chocolate. The other ones will be all white chocolate, sometimes milk, but this one is a chocolate glaze in chocolate. And also we're going to be creating a special coffee chocolate ganache, and we're going to be dipping and shaping the S shape to create the coffee bean experience. And then there's a couple of tricks how to make it a bit burned like a coffee, which you will see when you do it. So these are the extras, okay? And again, this is optional. You can get this now, or you can do it at the end of the course if you're like, hey, I really enjoy this, I want to learn more. So you can do that, but it's optional. How do I get the link to sign up for the course in pounds, please? Claire, if you want in pounds, it would be better if you email us. We'll create a custom link for you, because everything on our website is in dollars. And for those of you who want to sign up, 1 second, I didn't even give you a link. I mean, you'll know how to find it. I will add the link here. And you can choose which package you want. Can I pin this comment? I can't pin it, can I? No, I can't. Well, anyway, I've just posted it there, so you can have a look and you can read it, after the webinar. Just sit down, think about it. You're like, if you're feeling fire in your belly, like, I want to do this, do it. If you're not sure, it's okay. Don't do it. Yeah. Right. Let's see. What is the decision that's been made by the group? Bad news, bad, bad, bad. Get it out of the way. Like to end on a good note. That's a good point. I like that, Jen. Janine. Bad, yes. Big fan of coffee. Yeah, it's really good. Yes to coffee always. Missed the first 15 minutes of this webinar. Is there a way to rewatch? Yes, we will send the replay to you at the end of the webinar, if that's okay. So I don't have to, repeat everything. So, okay, so we start with the bad news. The bad news is, well, it's not that bad, but I got to prepare you so you don't feel it's that bad. But the bad news is that once we make the dessert and you glaze it, you cannot freeze it. Okay. So you cannot freeze these desserts. That's the bad news, because technically, if you wanted to make loads of them, like with other cakes that we do, like, we have cheesecakes, mousse cakes, even mochi, right? If you've done my courses, we can freeze a lot of that. Here you can't. But the good news is that we can freeze the actual dessert in a freezer up to 3 months without the glaze. So I feel like it's not that bad, right? But I wanted to, let you know so you're aware, because sometimes you might think, okay, I will create it, I will shape it, I will color it, and I will freeze it. What happens? Why cannot we freeze it? The reason we cannot freeze it is because it's got even though the glaze is also with cocoa butter and chocolate, so it's much softer but still strong glaze, it splits in the freezer. It just cannot handle the pressure. And I've been testing with different types of glazes and different ratios of cocoa butter and chocolate. It doesn't matter what I've tried, they still split. So at the end of the day, you know, if you're doing this for yourself, even if you do this course, right, and you have loads of extras over, you can freeze them because it doesn't matter if they split for you. You're going to eat them anyway, right? But I'm thinking about more from a perspective, if you want to make them in advance, you can, but just without glazing. So that would mean you would make all the desserts, all the fillings, all the ganaches, everything, shape it, mold it, everything, and just leave it in a freezer. You know, you can wrap it in cling film or put it in like a box. You know, once they're frozen, they're pretty hard. You can just move them around. They're like hard balls. And then you would just do the glaze, which is very easy, by the way. And you would just glaze them and you would just get the dessert done. I would say probably in like less than 30 minutes, you know, the whole glazing part. Well, maybe the coloring part will take more time depending on which fruit it is, but generally, yes. So that's the good news and the bad news. And in terms of storage, once the desserts are made and glazed, they'll be good in a fridge up to 3 days. So because it's fresh fruit and mousse, I would recommend to consume them within 2 days, but I've experimented with 3 days as well. And if they're done properly and then capped in the actual shell of our glaze, then they don't leak, they don't break, nothing like that. And of course, we're going to go through everything, you know. So it's really great news. We're still freezing. Yes, okay, yeah. But I had to like, you know, I had to warn you just in case, you know, so you don't think you can glaze the whole thing. Thanks for the discount. You're very welcome. Again, my goal is just to, guys, for you to bake something new, to learn new skills, have fun, really push yourself out of comfort zone, because these will push you out of your comfort zone. You might get frustrated because, you know, they are quite like hands-on. Unless you're very good with your hands, you know, you might be. How much is the bonus? The bonus is $147. Yeah, so that's the bonus. Will you offer the course again in the future? I don't know, possibly, maybe in a year or 2, 3, I don't know, because you know, guys, now like everything's slightly changed. I kind of just do this more for fun and for my passion, because I'm doing lots of other things at the moment. So I don't think this course is going to repeat next year, maybe in 2 years. So if you really want to do it, I would recommend you do it now. Don't delay your life for another 2 years. And again, if you get the full package, it's in your account lifetime, and you have lifetime support as well. So you're not losing out. Approximately how much it costs to get all the ingredients, including baking materials for each session. So we're not making that many desserts. So it's about 5 to 6 desserts per lesson. In terms of cost, like, so I would count it as a mousse cake, right? So I would say, again, it depends where you live. So I can't like give you the exact number, but I can give you a ballpark. I think for majority of you, you know, you have the tools, you might need to get a couple of molds. I would say per lesson, probably like $20 to $30. I don't think it would be more than that, because most of the ingredients that we use is like cream, sugar, fruit purees. A lot of the purees you can make yourself. Actually, all the purees here we're making ourselves, because you can buy them too if you already have, but like mangoes, apples, you can buy like apple puree already done, like, you know, for the babies, the apple, whatever it's called, like apple thingy. So you can use the apple sauce, you know, so you can use that if you don't want to make your own. But everything, like all the fruits, they're not that expensive and sell. So it's not going to be that expensive. Like I can't think. Yeah, I would say $20 to $30, unless you're making more. And again, depends where you live. If you live in New York, maybe your costs are going to be a bit higher. Okay. There was something else I was going to say about the fruit and nuts. It will come to me. Thank you so much for adventures in baking with new cakes. So much fun. Yes, Robin. Yes, that's why we're here. We're here to experience new things, new desserts, new adventures, right? So like we can try new things. Laura, do you glaze them from the freezer or defrost 3 hours in the refrigerator first? That's a very good question. So no, we glaze them straight away from the freezer. There is a lot of technicalities that I will go over in the welcome webinar, which we'll have in 2 weeks if you're on the course. But yeah, so a lot of the times, like there's a couple of things when we shape the dessert. when we're going to glaze it, there's two things you can glaze it with. You can use a knife, like a small knife, right? Because it's hard, so you can hold the dessert, because the desserts are pretty heavy on their own. Or you can use those wooden skewer sticks. You know, when you do the barbecue, maybe you've done it before, like, you know, homemade skewers in the oven, those types. And maybe some of you saw the email. I actually cut through my whole hand. You know, like I really injured myself. The dessert wasn't frozen enough and I pushed through it and I didn't realize, but it went right through the dessert, right into my hand. And we were in the middle of filming. I didn't think it was a big deal. I was like, oh, it's fine. But I had a glove on, so I didn't see how much damage I did. And then when my team was like, oh no, let's just check your hand. Let's make sure you're okay. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. And then, you know, they took the glove off. I'm like washing my, you know, I'm taking the glove off and like the blood just goes everywhere. Sorry if you're like squeamish, but I fainted basically. I was like, I'm going to faint. Guys, I'm giving you 30 seconds. I actually knew I'm going to faint and I told them, but nobody knew what to do. So anyway, so I decided that I don't recommend using the knife. So we're going to go slightly a longer route, but it's safer route. We're going to use wooden skewers and you're going to put the skewers into the desserts and then you're going to put the desserts into the freezer for extra 10 minutes because then the skewer is going to be frozen in the dessert. So it will be hard. It will be like, it will hold the weight. Does that make sense? Yeah. It will hold the weight of the dessert. So when you actually glaze it and take it out, the skewer will come out eventually, but you're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna drop the dessert. You're not gonna cut your hands. You know, someone's gonna do it. I gotta do it for you guys, but you don't need to cut your hands, okay? So yeah, so we're gonna use the wooden skewers and yeah, we freeze them, put the skewers in, and so they're ready for you to glaze. Now, one more important thing is that when you do these desserts, whether you do them with me, with someone else, it doesn't matter, on your own. I just want to give you as much tips as possible, but when you take it out, right, like you will have a hole in the dessert because, you know, we put the skewer in. What's really, really important is that you add the glaze into that hole and you cover it fully. Like you add as much glaze in there and you wait, you smooth it out with your finger or the knife or the stick, you know, to make sure there's no holes, because any single hole, your dessert is going to crack, it's going to leak, and all sorts of things. And it's going to be sad because, you know, creating that dessert is a lot of steps. And the last thing you want to do is for it to kind of like die, you know, like break apart. So these are kind of like a couple of tips. And of course, I'm going to give you a lot more about the very technical things we're going to go through and like what to do, what not to do. And again, we're going to be live every single week. So you can ask me as many questions as possible. How do we pay? So you can pay, this is the link. So you just pay with any card, PayPal, or any card, Stripe, anything. Just choose whatever package you want and the discount will be applied to you when you press the checkout. Does that make sense? How big is each dessert? The size of your hand, half of it? No, so it's actually like a real fruit. So like the size is like, you know, like, so an apple would be like maybe just a tiny bit smaller, but it would be like a real apple size, real orange size. So they're not like that small. They are actually, ideally, you would share one dessert between two people, you know, like if when people want to try different fruits. So when I did it, I put in a box like all the flavors and people love that. And they split one, like, okay, mango is probably enough for 4 people even because it's quite big. Mango is like a real mango as well. The same with the nuts, are maybe bigger than the real nuts because the nuts in real life are this small, obviously. So nuts are much bigger, but the dessert, the fruit itself, they will be like good size. Yeah, like proper size. And guys, like I forgot to mention, yeah, we're also going to be making the cherry in the course, but you can see if you click on the link, you'll be able to see all the desserts and everything like in detail because we just didn't update the presentation. Sorry about that. I tried to update everything. You know, there's so much work to do and set this all up. So we're trying to as much as we can, but mistakes are still sometimes made. Only human. Now for a couple more questions, I think we have like the Q&A here. Is this course suitable for me? I don't have any experience. Yes, it is. Like I mentioned before, it's definitely an intermediate level. So I want to be transparent about that. You know, it's not something that you know, you bake a cookie. We're diving into a deeper level, but I will explain everything quite simple. And if you follow step by step, you will be okay, right? Just take your time. It's not hard. I broke it down as easy as possible, but you will feel like you've learned a lot in 8 weeks. You know, you will feel like you went to a pastry school for 3 years. That's the kind of level we have. Okay. So, again, like, I'm not trying to stretch ever any of the cakes and courses. Like, I want you to learn as much as you can. So it is suitable for beginners. But just so you know, it might be challenging, but as long as you're willing to follow the temperatures, follow the steps by steps, you'll be fine. How many times can I watch the video lessons? You can watch them as many times as you want. They're going to be broken down in your account, so you can watch them. I'm actually going to show you, if you want, put a 1 if you want to see how it looks behind, how the actual course looks, and I can just show you quickly, just like for a second, just so you know like what it is, because sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know like how it looks. What does that mean? So I'm just going to show you quickly behind the scenes of how we split the lessons and what's, you know, what exactly is going to be in there. Hang on. I'll just show you like just couples so that you can see. Because the course, by the way, everyone who already got the course, I know there's some of you, it will open next Saturday. You know, like as in like you can log into your account. Right, so let me show you, and I'll answer the questions you guys asked, so don't worry. So here you go. So this is how the course is gonna look when you log in. You're gonna have your course introduction. That's gonna open next week. You're gonna have all the outline, all the ingredients and tools you're gonna need, so you can still look and it's all in one place. How to use it, how to use a scale. You're gonna be able to join the Facebook group, which is on the right hand side here, and this is how the lessons will look. So you see, week 1 we're making orange, week 2 we're making cherry, week 3 we're making peanut, and so every element is going to be split up. So the first element is how to make orange filling, how to make orange yogurt mousse, how to assemble the cakes, how to glaze and decorate and shape the dessert, and then the full video. So if you're the type of person who likes to watch it in elements and create one element at a time, then you just go through the course. You know, you just click, you watch the video, you download the recipe here if you wanted to for that filling specifically. And once you've completed it, you click complete. Okay, you just watch the video. First thing I'm gonna do is make. And if you want to watch the whole thing, you just click on the full video and you download your shopping list and the full recipe here. So you can watch the whole recipe and everything in that sense. Does that make sense? So it's very straightforward. Like I said, we broke it down for you so that every week you can just kind of do your own thing and like you can learn. And so you don't need to stress out about each element. And it's kind of giving you a choice, you know, you can do either or. Let me see the questions. To serve, it should be straight from the fridge, or can it be displayed a few hours in room temperature? That is a good question. So I think it can stay in a room temperature, I would say, for a couple of hours, maybe 2 hours max. But again, if it's really hot and sunny, probably not. Like any dessert, you know, it's gonna melt. It's got the cocoa butter, so it makes the shell harder than if it was just the chocolate. So the shell is much harder than just chocolate. So that gives you a little bit more time in a room temperature. But I would always recommend with any desserts, it doesn't just matter with these desserts, always keep them in a fridge until you want to serve them. They all have about 1 hour up to 2 hours lifetime. You know, if you were to transport them, you might want to transport them in like a mini fridge or some like ice packs or something like that. So then it has that coldness in it because they are more gentle. You know, if you've seen Cedric, he has these boxes. I think his like 3 desserts cost like, I don't know, $100, you know, and it's like this black golden box. And I think it's like the way they transport it is like it's all covered and it's like in a fridge, and then you open and it's like 3 desserts. So do I sell to a group of 4, and how much do you do it at a discount or not? Sorry, I don't understand the question. Group of 4. Robin, could you repeat the question just so I can answer it? Raises, so what's the total? Sorry, I missed that. I took early one of your courses. So the basic package is $350 and the full package is $450 with all the discounts and the extra discounts. So, and all the bonuses, of course, in the full package. I'll leave the link one more time here, so you guys can go and look for yourself. So you can always go in and check it. Are these desserts good for traveling with 1 hour drive? Oh yeah, well, yes, like I said, yeah, I already answered it right before. Yeah, you can travel, just put them in a cold box or like in a car with like a really cold AC on the floor so they don't move. And if you're gonna transporting these, you might want to put them onto these like mini cake boards. You put a little bit of chocolate underneath, you put the dessert on so it's nice and firm, so it doesn't move, because then you can transport it. Otherwise, you know, they can move and stuff like that. I actually did transport my desserts, and it was a 3 hour drive, but I drove from Riga to Daugavpils, and because I was taking the desserts for my auntie and the kids, and I remember that they were still fine, but I did freeze them. I didn't care if they split, because obviously, but and some of them were still fine, actually. Not even the ones, I didn't freeze all of them because I didn't have time. And I think, yeah, like they were fine. I put them into this like you know, like takeaway box. It's crazy, sounds crazy, but it's very tight. And because they're all chocolate coated, they don't like move too much. So I can actually post a video maybe in K Club. I'm sure you guys are all in K Club, but I can post a video and you can see like how they are all together, and it looks very cute, and they didn't break, they didn't nothing. But it depends. If you're selling it, maybe you want to put like just on a protection, you know. Linda, how does the difficulty compare to the mousse cake or Baltic course? I would say it's similar to the mousse cake course, you know, maybe actually a little bit easier because we don't have glazing and so many like rules. So in terms of making it, it's not too bad. It's more like that, the shaping it, but again, it's more artistic. It's just there's kind of few steps. So it's not that it's like super difficult. It's just like, you know, step one, make the fillings, you know, mold them and shape them. Step two, make the ganache, mold it and shape it. You know, step three, make the glaze, dip it and shape it. Step four, shape it or paint it. So it's just more like a couple of steps, you know, to make them. But it's not too difficult, you know, similar level, I would say. Claire, I have sent an email for the English pounds links as I followed the link on here, but it'll charge me extra for the exchange. Yeah, sure, Claire. I'm sure after the webinar, the team is gonna send you the link for the pounds, so then you can get it in pounds. Lorna, is there a weekly webinar? Yes, there is a weekly webinar with me, so I'll be live with you every week, and we will just go through everything. Okay, so we'll be like, okay, week one was the orange. How did you guys do? How was what went right, what went wrong, couple of tips here and there, because every dessert is different, also different fillings and different you know, ganaches and mousses, so it's up to you. It's like different. So we're going to discuss everything in every single week. Question, is the fruit and nut flavor combination charge for 20 different than the bonus? I don't see the bonus that you mentioned above. Yes, it's a different, it's just like a combination chart, so you can create different types of things. If you're referring to the bonus of the extra desserts, that is a different link, and it's like the special. I'm gonna post it here. If by any chance you already bought the course but you missed the extra bonus link with those extra 4 desserts, I'm gonna post it here, so you can, if you save and click and save it or copy that somewhere, then you can take it. Robin, like, yes.
I wanted to say something. The mold that you mentioned, the Dolce
Yes.
Tartufo, it looks like if we ordered that on, it must be out of the country or something. It's like $68 to
Is
get
it?
it.
No,
It's
then
40 plus shipping.
okay, yeah. So see if you can find like an American version of it, because it's basic like an apple mold. So you can also find, if you can, if you Google apple mold as well, we can see if we can find them. We basically want a mold that's basically thick enough to add all the ganache in there with the filling. Otherwise, you will have to do half of the mold, freeze it, then another half, and mold them together. And again, you can do that, but it's going to just be extra time. And I did that for some of them in the beginning. And like, as patient as I am, I didn't like that. I prefer to do it all in one dessert and then shape it. Does that make sense? So have a look. I can also have a look after the webinar and see if we can find them. It doesn't have to be that specific brand. The only reason why it's more expensive because it's the top French brand, Silicon Mart. That's why. But if you say similar products like this, you might find that you have similar molds like that. Sometimes Amazon even gives you like the link down there. See if you can find it. Oh, Robin, like 4 different fruits in a package or 4 varieties like I did for Christmas time with cheesecake. Yes, absolutely. Of course, you can, I would sell it only like that. I mean, obviously you can sell like maybe, you know, like 3 oranges or 3 pears or whatever, or cherries, but actually people like the variety. So you can get like cherry, apple, I don't know what else do we have here, like pistachio in one box. You can have 4 different flavors, or people can even pick right ahead of time. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot. I'm also going to give you an extra recipe. So it's actually going to be 9 because we have 8. But at the end of the course, there is a bonus strawberry. We're going to learn how to make strawberry as well. It's going to be as an extra bonus once you complete the course. So you're actually getting 9 recipes, 9 fruit and nuts. I wasn't going to tell you, but somebody asked me earlier and I was like, okay, I'll tell you now. Janine, I just sent you the link. Have a look there for the extra bonuses recipe. Yeah, for the avocado and peach and all of that, it's a separate link. For the homework, how do we present our work to you? Taking pictures, show you a video. Yes, so it's just taking a photo. We would ask you just to take 2 photos of your dessert, how it looks as whole, and then cut, you know, in half. And this is just for other people to see as well. It's like for you to have, you know, some accountability, and for us to also tell you in case we see there are some mistakes. If let's say the glaze is too thick, or the mousse is too like soft, or I don't know, the filling or something like that. Sometimes we can see from a picture. If we cannot see something, we always ask you to be like, oh, film a video if you can. It's up to you. You can post videos, pictures, but just for the homework, we need 2 pictures. That's all. So 2 pictures, and just your you know, opinion. You're like, oh, this was easy, or this was hard, or intermediate. Karen is saying Hobby Lobby is great for molds. Yeah, of course, you can also go to the mold shops and just find that mold. That's what you need. We just want like a deeper one, you know, to fit that in. Can we submit questions ahead of the webinar for you to answer? I can rarely attend due to times, but if we could ask questions ahead of time, then replay would be quite useful. Yes, of course, Linda, that's the whole purpose. That's why when we open the webinar, you can post all the questions under the webinar. So you can ask me anything and I will cover that in a live webinar. So even if you cannot attend the webinar, you watch the replay and all your questions will be answered. I mean, we usually answer all the questions anyway, so we encourage you to ask as many questions as you want. There is no limit. Ask away. You know, we're here to support you and help you out. Mary saying I purchased the OPO Apple mold for $15.99 US. Perfect. Mary, would you be kind to maybe send a link, or if you have a link, I don't know, to post it somewhere, or here if you have it by hand. I don't know if you do, but sometimes, you know, if it's on Amazon, yeah, because don't spend $68 on the mold. It's like, I think it's about $15 to $20 that the mold should cost, and that will be for 4 of your desserts. So that's it.
Ala, I lost my internet connection. I
Oh.
lost you. Sorry, but I wanted to finish by saying that you did put a different brand on the site, but it was so cheap. It was like $15. I
Yes.
didn't know if it was a good enough brand, but you did put one on there.
Oh, okay. Good, good, good. Yeah, I thought we did, but I was like, you know, there's so many things going on. Yeah, no,
Right,
that
but
was fine. Yeah, it's
you
fine.
you showed your list today, and I think your list was England, UK.
Ah, yes,
And so
yes.
you showed it today, and I'm like, I've got the wrong one. What's wrong with me? So I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah,
share
yeah.
that.
We have 2 lists. So if you're in Europe, we have the UK Amazon, and if you're in America or Canada, we have the US Amazon. So we actually, for us, it's extra work because we have to do 2 Amazons, but it's just easier for you guys, so you can just see. And you don't have to specifically buy from there. It's just like a guideline of what I use, like, and you can either order that or just look around in Walmart, or like you said, like some other stores. It's just sometimes easier. I personally prefer, you know, like someone said in the comments earlier, it's just so easy that all the ingredients and tools are listed on Amazon. You can just press the button, it comes to your house and you're done, you know? I'm like the
Right.
lazy type. So
Yeah, but it just scared me because I'm like, that wasn't on that list. So I researched it while I was watching. And sure, they'll make England for me.
yeah, you looked at the English Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's why I can't find it. Okay.
Gulnara, thank you very much. Alichka, I am in. I bought it all. Thanks so much, darling. Can't wait to see your cakes. Linda is saying you can also buy directly through Silicon Mart website. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it can be cheaper. Maybe sometimes they have like you know, what's called discounts and things like that. They also have the lemon molds, but I will show you how to make the lemon without the mold. So if you want to buy the lemon mold, feel free, but we will do it without the lemon mold. So like I said, you don't need to spend loads of extra money. We just need 2 molds and cling film. Okay. I'm trying to make it easy. Betsy, thank you very much. Is it required to attend the webinar weekly? What time and day of the week? No, it's not requirement to attend the webinar, so it's optional. The webinars will always be in your account, so there will be a replay, so you can watch it whenever. And times and days of the week, I think it's going to be on Wednesdays around lunchtime. That's the usually time that we have it, just because people have things in the evening and they're busy. So lunchtime is usually you can be at work and just tune in, or again, you can watch it later. So that's lunchtimes in US time and evenings probably in UK time or like Europe time. But they are optional. And like somebody asked earlier, you know, if you want to ask your questions, for example, Betsy, and anything you not clear about, just ask them and I will go in details and reply to you. Because most likely what happens is that if you have a question, maybe 10 other students will have the same question. So don't ever be shy, ask away. We're here to learn. There's no wrong questions. You know, my favorite thing about is when we start the course, everyone's like, oh, this might be a stupid question, but can I ask this? I'm like, no stupid questions here. It's a free, safe space. Ask everything. You're here to learn. I'm here to teach you. So ask me everything. I want to give you and teach you as much as I can. So, and most likely, like I said, if you ask that question, everybody else was probably thinking that and maybe didn't ask. Mary popped up on your Amazon. Okay, perfect. Then yes, we cleared that. Kimalan, since there would be a shipping charge each time we order, can we have a list of tools of all the desserts in the course so we can order ahead of time to say yes? So you have a full list of everything, the tools and ingredients ahead of time. You're gonna have like a master shopping list with like literally even detailed measurements. So for example, it would be like, I don't know, 200 grams of butter, like 300 grams of puree, 1 kilo of flour, or whatever it is. You will have a detailed list and all the Amazon, on my Amazon already, you have everything that you need for the course. So you might as well just order in one thing, you know? Another thing I forgot to mention, which might be a bonus, is that all the desserts are actually pretty much gluten-free. So we don't have any gluten in any of the desserts. They're low sugar and they're gluten-free, but they're very delicious. And some of the sponges, like chiffon sponge, we do make it with plain flour, but I think you can change it to gluten. I know we have people that are going to do that anyway. So, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well. Forgot. Except you need Italian fiscal code. I don't know about that. Robin, I bought an air gun to paint my cakes, but I can't wait to see how it works on these cakes. Yeah, so if you have an air gun or air spray, it will make your cakes look very, very realistic because it's also going to add the driplets of water. So it will create like it's a freshly washed dessert fruit. It's just like I didn't include it. I made it more simple for people who don't want to invest in air gun. But if you have it, you can use it and you can paint your fruit with air gun or spray. So if you did my mousse cake course and you have the spray, right? You remember, guys, that the gun, you can actually use the gun and you can use the same mixture and you can coat it with any type of glaze, you know, really like anything. You can even do the velvet spray and everything on each fruit. So it does add that extra element, extra art. It's for those who really want to be very artistic and realistic. Is the lesson the same as the webinars that you just talked about? No, so the lessons will be recorded. So you will see like a video of how to do it step by step. Okay, so everything like with my hands and you see the footage. The live sessions will be like this, like we're having now. So the live sessions will be like this. We're talking, you ask me questions and I share everything. But the actual cakes, it's all already in your account, and every lesson will open each week. So each week it's a new lesson, and you finish that lesson, you do it, you do your homework, and then next week the next lesson opens up. Does that make sense? If you watch the webinar lesson later than the actual airtime, how do we post our questions and get the answers? So you'll be able to ask questions in the course. So you will get access to the course, like the platform, and you can ask questions under each element or under each cake. And so we see all your questions. And you also, if you join the Facebook group where we share all our homework, you will have option to ask any question there, and we'll collect that. So if you have specifically questions for the webinar, for example, you can just say, hey guys, question for the webinar. I won't be there, but can you answer this, and ask your question. But you will have also a mentor. So any questions you have every time, every day, there will be a dedicated person that goes into the Facebook group, I think 2 or 3 times a day, and answers your questions. So you'll always get your reply within one day, regardless, even few hours usually, you know, and I'm there too. So I will help out. Привет, привет, привет. So we cannot miss the lessons at the time it's aired. No, you cannot. It will be in your account already. So as soon as we start the course, your first lesson will be open. So you're not going to miss it. Yeah. So you can watch it at any time. So the lesson will be open every Friday, and you will have 10 days to finish the homework. So until Sunday, you have time to complete the homework. And then next Friday, the new lesson opens. So you cannot miss, you cannot miss anything. The only thing that's going to be live is our live, webinars. So where we're going to discuss and talk everything. Does it all make sense? But yeah, what else? Let me just double check. I didn't miss any other questions. Let me see if you guys have any more questions. The lessons is at lunchtime in USA, California. Yes, the live lessons will be around lunchtime on Wednesdays. And then the other lessons, they will open Friday morning for you, or Thursday night, and open at any time. So you can watch it throughout the whole day or night, whenever you want to. Two more questions we have is, will I get the certificate after I finish the course? Yes, so once you complete all 8 desserts, you will get the certificate. So you are required to create 8 desserts. It doesn't matter how and when, as long as you complete them by 8 weeks. And sometimes if you have emergency, or you're, I don't know, traveling or away, you can complete the course later, and we still give you the certificate. Okay. Yeah, I think these are all the questions that we have. I think the others ones were actually asked here, and I've answered them fully. The lesson is open for 24 hours on Wednesday only and Friday only. No, Betsy. So everything is open full time. So there's no time limit. The live sessions are just every Wednesday, and then the replay will be uploaded into your account. And the actual fruit lesson will open every Friday, and that will just be open forever. It's just in your account. So you log in and the lesson is there. And the webinars will also be under each lesson. So for example, like when we start, the first lesson is orange, your first cake. So you make an orange, and that will be already open in your account. And then we do a webinar on Wednesday, and the webinar will be under the orange cake. So you will want to watch the cake lesson, and then you will want to watch the webinar to make sure you know what to look out for, if there's any mistakes or things you need to know, and then you can make the cake. Does that make sense? Robin, I work during the day, on and off on weekends. I can, but try. Yes, you should. Robin, so I'll miss most of your live section. Yeah, if like I said, feel free to ask all the questions ahead of time. Our first webinar will be on a weekend, which is the welcome one, where I'll describe everything. And then after that, there will be every Wednesday. I'm just curious, how do you get the shine if it's a mirror glaze? In which case, how do glaze evenly around a round object? Yeah, you will see in a video. We're gonna be using the skewers, and we're gonna be using them right in the middle where you're gonna put the stick, right? So we're gonna glaze it first in a chocolate cocoa glaze, and then we're gonna dip it into the mirror glaze. And actually, this is easier than mirror glazing. You know, the cakes when you do it with a like what's called like jug. Here you're actually dipping in a mirror glaze, so it's less messy, and you just dip and you wait. And because cake is frozen and it's so small, the glaze actually holds like straight away, and you just wait a little bit and then you put it onto your decorative plate. You know, so it's very, very smart, very clean, very easy, not messy at all. So it's not as difficult as mirror glazed cakes in the sense of the setup. You only need jugs. I would only recommend, you know, make sure you get like tall glasses to dip the cakes, or jugs, you know, which are just a little bit bigger. But even like a cup like this would work quite well for some of the desserts because it's just easier to dip. And when the cup is taller, you can have less glaze, so less usage. Another thing I forgot to actually mention, all the chocolate glazes that we'll learn to make, like from week 1, you can reuse them. So for example, let's say the first week we're gonna make an orange glaze. You can leave it, and then you can use it for the red glaze for the tomato, right? So you can think like, okay, like every week there is a different color, so don't throw them away, and they last for ages. So they can be in a room temperature, they will just become rock hard, and you just melt it, and you can mix them and match them. There's no rules here, which makes it easier because you cannot do that with like glazes and other types of like glazing, like mirror glazing. But here you can, with this chocolate cocoa butter glaze that I will give you, you can mix and match, you can change the colors. You can, you know, yeah, and you don't need to throw it away. It can last for a long time. Clever, sweet, love it. I feel enlightened. What time is the webinar on Wednesday? Yvonne, we will send you more details. I just don't know from the top of my head, as I don't really organize the timings usually, but I think it will be similar time as we usually do. I don't know if it's like 1 or 2 p.m., but we will send you, you know, closer to the time. Pamela, what is the cost of the one with lifetime access? And if we buy soon, are there any? Yes. So if you buy within the next week, you get the extra $100 discount. So the lifetime course is $450 for 8 weeks. Did I send you the link? I think, because I think obviously we're talking, so there's many links, but I'm gonna post it one more time. So you can have a look here. So the basic and the full package, and then when you click to buy, to check out, it will apply the discount automatically right now. But I think the discount will finish. If I'm not wrong, it's 1 week. It might be less than that, but I cannot. I'd rather say 1 week than give you wrong dates. So yeah, so you have the extra discount right now. Yeah, and so we will send you, as soon as you sign up for the course, you will get your welcome emails, you will get the access, how to log in into your account, where to find everything, and you can already join the Facebook group. Okay, so we started adding people in there already. You can start to get to know each other. I know some of you have been with many courses together, so you're already like best friends, but we have some newbies as well. So yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming today. That was a longer webinar than I planned, but then again, these desserts are very exciting. They're very creative, and if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to me via email, via social media. I still check, you know, all my messages and stuff, so we will get back to you. And if you're coming to the course, welcome. Very excited, and I'll obviously see you in like 2 weeks. And we will send you the replay into your account probably, well, in the next hour or so. So you can definitely rewatch it if you wanted to just listen to it again. Thank you, Alam. In yes. Spasiba came late, but so lovely to see you and happy and bubbly again. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, very, very excited to see you all in a course, and we'll be spending 8 weeks together the entire summer. Yay. And yeah, if you have any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in a course. And thank you so much for coming and spending this time this Saturday with me. Thank you. Very excited to make these. Yay. Okay, guys, I'll see you all soon. Have a lovely Saturday. Have a lovely weekend. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.